Hey, welcome everybody. It's Ted Padromo. And today I've got a special guest, Joseph Michael. And yesterday I sent out a message to my list. I said, how can I be more of service for you? And a lot of people said, teach me how to make money. It's like, you're teaching me marketing, but teach me how to make money. So perfect timing here because Joseph is launching a course creation product. So welcome, Joseph.
Yeah, thanks, Ted. I'm glad to be here. I love talking about making money online. So we're in the right place.
Awesome. So I was just reading your little bio. Tell me about your background. It's very interesting.
Yeah, so I have a kind of a funny story. I always considered myself just an average Joe. I was working the corporate job. I was in the corporate world at a pretty steady job for about 8 years in the same position. Had a management role. It wasn't a bad job. I was just kind of feeling like I wasn't really, making a difference. I was kind of stuck. I think a lot of people can relate to that. And I was, hustling, getting there early, staying late, trying to do everything I was told in order to get promoted, make more money, do all the things right. And it was just year after year. It was like, hey, just be thankful you have a job. Here's a little 3% raise. And I was thankful for my job. Don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't cutting it. My wife and I had another baby on the way. We were, saving for a house, all these things, and living paycheck to paycheck. It was stressful, And so I began to look at other avenues of, how can I make some extra money? Let's get a little buffer here. Let's start saving some money. And I tried everything. I was trying to get pizza delivery jobs, even just on the weekends and nights. Just I thought, well, I got to get a second job. Wow. And it's kind of funny. My story took a twist here because I was literally I live in St. Louis, Missouri, so we have a popular pizza chain called Emo's. I was going into these Emo's restaurants. I went to about 3 of them, filled out the applications, and I just could not get hired at these places. I was getting turned down by these teenagers who knew the area really well and had all this pizza delivery experience, and I didn't have any. And it was just frustrating time. It was like an ego blow. And I began to look at other avenues. I thought, well, what can I do online? What can I do? What can I teach? What can I help? What can I do to use my skills I already have? And I just didn't even know there was this possibility online. And what I found was amazing and completely life-changing. I'm sure we'll get in a little bit more, but fast forward 2 years, I wanted to make an extra $300 online. That was going to be life-changing for me and my family. I ended up 12xing my day job corporate income and completely just flipped my lifestyle around. And now I'm here in my home office doing stuff that I absolutely love and making a bigger impact and a bigger difference than I ever thought possible, all because I stumbled on online courses and just teaching what you know. So it's been an incredible journey.
That's amazing. Your bar was pretty low. $300 a month would change your life, and that's awesome.
Yeah. So, it's just been light bulb moment after light bulb moment to really see the difference that just getting started can take, just taking that next step. And I'm so glad I just took the first step without really having it all figured out. I think that's a big thing that most people get stuck with, and him gonna have all figured out first. And really, it's the opposite. You just got to get going and then kind of figure it out on as you go.
I think we get caught up in that hype too, because you read those sales letters and watch the videos. Oh, I'm going to make millions tomorrow.
Yeah,
one step at a time.
One step at a time. Yeah,
that's awesome. You're known as the Scrivener coach. I saw that a couple of years ago. Ray Edwards introduced me to that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Huge fan of Ray. Yeah, he's a great guy, great blog. It's kind of funny because, I started just blogging online, talking about productivity stuff because that was kind of what I knew. I was interested in that. So that's where I started. But to organize everything, I started using this tool, Scrivener. For those who don't know, it's kind of like Microsoft Word on steroids, and it's kind of this big database too. So really useful for just organizing lots of information. And I was using it to organize my blog content, and I kept seeing everybody talk about Scrivener. And I saw a pain, and that's kind of my number one thing I teach people to look for a pain to solve. Even if you're not an expert at that, it's funny how an expert really is just somebody who knows a little bit more than somebody else and is willing to pay you to know what you know. So I studied Scrivener, and I began to find ways that I could teach it that people could really kind of understand, get over the learning curve. And that was really my first kind of big best-selling course that came out. It's kind of amazing still to think that such a niche little program, it's Scrivener, can be so life-changing.
And like you said, you just need to know 10% more than somebody else, and they're willing to pay you.
Yeah, exactly. We think we have to, why would anybody, listen to me? Or why? I mean, I struggle with all these things. A lot of it's mental. I haven't been in this industry for 10, 20 years. And the thing is, it's a completely different world online. People really don't care about your credentials as much as they just care about, hey, what do you know? And can I learn it fast? They just want a recipe to a result. And I would have got started a lot quicker had I could get over those mental hurdles faster. But, I think it's been 3-4 years now since I put out that course. And I don't think I've had one person question me on my credentials as, why should I learn from you? It's basically, wow, let me see your course. You have what I want. Nobody's ever even asked me, have you written a book? Which is kind of funny because Scrivener's like a novelist program, right? And
Right.
I'm not even a published author, but I could still teach the program in a way that people could understand it. And it's been a win-win.
That's kind of what I did with LinkedIn. I just kind of got totally immersed in it, and I know a lot about it, but I was like, well, there's a lot of other people that know a lot about it. Why me?
Yeah.
A lot of it comes down to like personality, connection,
Totally.
Yeah. And confidence.
And confidence. I always ask people, I say, why not you? Like, challenge yourself to say, why not me? Are you interested in Evernote? Are you interested in that? Why can't you be that guy? It just takes a little bit of kind of obsessing about something for a small period of time. I would literally take all these articles I'd read about Scrivener. I got Scrivener for Dummies. I bought every book I could find on it. I would literally just study one particular concept and say, okay, now let me teach that online while somebody's watching over my shoulder. I would just literally teach and learn at the same time.
Right. Exactly. And you're the expert.
Yeah. There we go.
So tell me about this new course. You've got a big giveaway going on right now.
Yeah, so I kept getting asked over and over and over again. I've got, I think, over 17,000 students now from my Scrivener course. And you would think the most questions I would get would be about Scrivener, right? But it's actually the opposite. The most questions I've gotten over the last couple of years is, I love this course. Can you show me how to create something like this? Because I want to teach something that I know. And I was doing a lot of private coaching. But then I was kind of trading my time for dollars again. And I thought, you know what, maybe I just need to create something to show my process, because I kind of reverse engineered everything I did to really understand why it was such a success. And I found out that I really had applied some basic principles that so many people miss. And I just did it kind of by accident, really. But I studied those, went really deep into that for about a year, and put together a new course called Easy Course Creation, where I basically show behind the scenes of everything I did, reverse engineer my course, and then kind of start from scratch of, if somebody's brand new, they don't even have an idea, they don't even know, they don't want to waste time creating something that nobody buys, because that was one of my fears. Well, I'm going to spend 6 months creating this thing, and what if nobody buys it? Well, yeah, there's a formula for that where we can pretty much guarantee and test the market before you buy something. It's fascinating, but it works almost 100% of the time. And so I've come up with a lot of these different techniques, and I decided to put them into a brand new course that I'm launching here very, very soon. We've done a first round of students already, and they're having massive success. It's so awesome to see the different courses they're coming out with. Mm-hmm. And right now we're giving away, packaged a lot of my best material into a couple different bundles. So I've got an ebook of kind of I don't know, maybe it's like the top 50 lessons that I've learned and mental hurdles that I've overcome on creating these courses. And the things I've observed in others about what's the difference between the courses that really sell and the courses where people have them, they created it, but they just struggled to get the students. And there's a very common denominator in those. And so I've put together a lot of that in there. Plus, people always ask me about my tools. And so I thought, let's create a fun little a book of just my favorite tools, what's working right now, because it changes all the time. But these tools right now, I couldn't live without them. And you know what? Most of them are dirt cheap. You don't even have to spend a whole bunch of money. I started out with I think it was a $35 blue snowflake microphone that plugged into my USB port. It was all I could afford when I started. Yeah. And I took that thing everywhere. I recorded tutorials in the backseat of my car on my lunch break. Like, I always tell people, just start with what you got, where you are, and you can always grow from there. So I put up together all these tools, kind of everything in a big course creation toolkit, I call it, and just kind of a bundle. And I'm really excited to get out there because it's a lot of the stuff people ask me for all the time. And so
People do love that. When I do webinars, say, oh, what am I using today for my office tools?
Yeah.
Love it.
They love it. And, I'm the same way. When I see pictures of people in their office or whatever, I'm kind of zooming in like, hey, what is that? What microphone are they using?
Yeah.
What technology do they have?
Microsoft Envy.
There we go. And so I think it takes away a lot of the barriers to it too, because when people see, oh, that's all you're using? Like, maybe I can do that. And once we start to get to that little mindset shift of maybe I can do this, a whole world of possibility opens up. Oh, I think I lost your audio. There. There we go. Okay, sorry about that.
No, years ago, about 15 years ago, I got started in this. I thought, I'm going to create a course on whatever.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted to buy it. So I surveyed my audience, and they said, I want to buy this. Like yesterday, I sent out one message saying, what can I do to serve you better? I said, teach me how to make money. I don't care about the marketing.
Yeah. It's so funny how we think we know what people want, but we get so caught up in it. Sometimes we're too close to our own stuff. And really, the best advice I can give is bring people on board in the process. Let them show you what they want, and you create that. That's the difference maker.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. I wrote an ebook back in the day. I thought that was the way to go. That was kind of a big thing a few years ago. People were selling ebooks. I spent months creating the most beautiful ebook. So many graphics, pictures. I used Adobe InDesign. Nobody ever saw it because they didn't want it. The topic was off, and I just thought this is what they wanted. It was actually through that failure, through that frustration that led me to, okay, I'm never doing that again. Like, what is it that people want? And it comes down to solving a pain. Like, it's got to be a significant pain for them, something they're struggling with, something that they really want to learn.
Yeah.
And I have another funny story that this was kind of my first light bulb moment of how I really discovered this. I was teaching my daughter how to tie her shoes, or trying to anyway. She was about 5 at the time. And it was so hard. Like, it's something we take for granted. But trying to teach somebody to tie their shoes, I was like, this is like impossible, right? So I went online, kind of looked for some different techniques, and I ended up finding this runner's knot technique that was super easy. And it worked like in 5 minutes. My daughter got it like that. And I was like, this is amazing. Let me put it, I was just playing with my blog then at the time. I was like, let me just put it on a blog article. I titled it, How to Teach Your Child to Tie Their Shoes in 5 Minutes.
Yeah.
And I put a little video on there of how she did it. And I thought, if nothing else, the grandparents will like it, right? And it exploded. There's over like 1 million views on this article because apparently parents, teachers all over the world were struggling with teaching their kids to tie their shoes. And I got so many comments from parents saying, you've changed my son's life. He can go into kindergarten or whatever with confidence now. He used to get made fun of. Like, just amazing stuff. And so I think in that lesson there was a pain there, and it went so viral because people wanted to share a solution to a pain. And the contrast that with the ebook I did, it just wasn't a big pain. It was more, I call it sugary content. Like, oh, it tastes good.
Yeah.
But you're not going to really pay for a solution. You will pay for a solution to end a pain. Yeah. Or to get a result. And so that's the difference, and we've baked a whole formula around that, and it's really eye-opening. I wish I would have had it when I first went through that, so I didn't have to spend those 6 months wasted on creating an ebook.
I don't know if this is your experience or not, but I always thought I needed to go really deep in my courses. And when I wrote Ultimate Guide to LinkedIn for Business, I wrote 600 pages. I went like deep into every aspect of LinkedIn, and my publisher goes, we don't want that many pages. People just want the basics. Don't overwhelm them. Do you find that with your courses?
Oh, totally. And it's something I teach, and I find almost every course creator struggles with this, is because you think, I want to make it just the best. And that's great intentions. But when you think about it from a consumer standpoint, what do? We buy something and we say, if I'm going to buy something that has 100 videos to show me how to do something, and I can also buy this that has 10 to show me how to get the same result, well, we're all pressed for time. We want it in the shortest amount of time possible. And really, we're just looking for somebody to just tell us what to do. Don't make us think, right? And so we don't need to have all the options. And a lot of times people just want to learn from you, because even though there's competition, people they want to learn from you. I like using an example of like the national anthem when we sing the national anthem during the Olympics or whatever, or during a big football game or the Super Bowl. Even though that song's been sung 100 times, it's always interesting to see, well, how is this person singing it?
Right.
They add their own unique twist. And so that's what people are looking for, is they want to see, how are you teaching this? Don't teach me everything about this. Just show me what I need to know. Just don't make me think. And that seems to work the best.
And that's what I've done with my LinkedIn course. It's teaching the basics. And then if they want the advanced stuff, we work one-on-one together.
Yeah.
And I teach them what they need to know, not everything.
Exactly. Yeah. Create the minimal viable product first, and then you can always add in additional training. You can always package those differently, advanced courses or one-off trainings or one-on-one coaching. There's so many ways to do it, but you don't have to put that in your whole course. I call it scope creep, and it's really easy to get overwhelmed. And all of a sudden, a lot of times this stops people from getting their course shipped and getting it out there, is because their course becomes into this monster and they're completely overwhelmed. Like, I can't finish this. And I always tell people, here's a quick little tip. If you had to launch your course in 1 week from now, what would you cut out? You know, all of a sudden you become laser focused on, oh, okay, well, this doesn't need to be in there. This doesn't need to be in there. This doesn't need to be in there. And that's what you focus on. Create that first and go from there.
Oh, I've received them. They also ship them in the DVDs. We did a giant box would arrive. Like, I'll never be able to watch all these videos.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times you don't. And so you're really doing your students a disservice by not making it easy for them to consume. One of the things I did with my Scrivener course was I took the time to study learning styles and attention spans. And I found that people were watching on average, like a YouTube video, 2 minutes and 7 seconds was the average attention span before they got bored and flipped somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, why as course creators are we creating these videos that are like 35 minutes, 40 minutes per video? What if we just broke it down one concept at a time and made them shorter like YouTube videos? And so I did that with my course, to where each topic is tackled in 3 to 5 minute little bite-sized chunks. And people loved it. I mean, they said, I can jump in between phone calls and learn something quick with Scrivener. And I can just I can watch a bunch of them or just one or two. And it allowed more students to actually complete my course and have success with it, because they felt like they were making progress, rather than, well, I'll put that off later and I'll watch that video when I have time. We all know how that goes. It never comes. So all these little tricks, I mean, we really want, not only do we want to make money from our online courses, but we want to make a difference, right? We want our students to actually have success with what we're teaching. And I think marrying those two automatically creates the most awesome marketing plan, because still word of mouth is the best form of marketing. And if somebody has success with your course, they're going to tell somebody else about it.
Exactly. Now I had 1,000 people buy my LinkedIn course last year. And if 3 people were successful, I was like, wow, I wish 300 were successful, but most people never watch the videos. So I actually started doing that a couple weeks ago. I do 2-minute videos on specific LinkedIn topics.
Love it.
I love it. I want to learn to do one thing. That's it.
Yeah, it's not overwhelming. It's, hey, I can do that. Let me just learn this one thing. And the chances are they learn that, like, ooh, what else can I learn? And then it just becomes this addicting. And momentum is huge for both students and course creators. And you're probably found this out, that it's easier to create those little pieces too than create a big, long training. And so it works both ways.
Yeah. Yep. Doing a 1-hour webinar takes days to prepare.
Oh, totally. Yeah, that was kind of my hang up at beginning. I said, I've only got my lunch break to create this course. Like I kind of looked at my schedule. I didn't want to really sacrifice too much family time. I worked 40, 50 hours a week at my day job. Let's carve out 5 hours a week, which was my 1-hour lunch break, Monday through Friday. And that allowed me to say, okay, I can't spend hours and hours creating these tutorials. Let me just create it in short chunks. Really, I did it for me first and found out that the students loved it too. And so I've just kind of stick to that same philosophy, even with my new course, just teaching one principle at a time. And people seem to love it.
That's great. Awesome. I know you're really busy. You're in the middle of this launch, so we'll just wrap this up. But who can create a course? Like what? I work with a lot of authors, speakers, coaches, financial advisors. Who can create a course?
I say pretty much everybody can create a course. I've heard so many topics that you'll never convince me otherwise that there's some that can't. I mean, we're talking chicken farmers to baseball catchers, and obviously LinkedIn, Scrivener, pretty much any software program you can think of. But not just that, there's just life experience. So many people take for granted the experience they have or the lessons they've learned. I would have never thought anybody would care about what I had to say, but you start to put it out there and you're like, wow, they actually do. Because we take it for granted because it's just part of our story. It's part of what we know. And even if you don't have any ideas, literally, we have the most awesome technology today. I think there's never been an opportunity like this.
Yeah.
With search tools, we can find out exactly what people are saying. We can read exactly what their comments are, what their frustrations are. You just got to know where to look, and you can find common themes so quickly and so easy. The problem then becomes you have too many good ideas.
Yeah.
And then we show you how to narrow those down as well. But really, if you're already a coach or a blogger, or you have an audience, or you're written a book, you're obviously just a step ahead because you've already got a topic nailed down. It's just a matter of repackaging that information. Mm-hmm. Really just tell people a course really is just organized information. Even if you've got a blog, you could take your 100 blog post articles, repackage them, put them in an organized fashion, and that's what people want. They don't want to search everywhere. They want it nice and concise in a nice package for them. And we have the technology that makes making a course dead simple. We've got companies that host everything for us, the payment processors, and just 2 short years ago, you had to put all those pieces together yourself.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to do that. It's just, they've done it all for you. Like, I am so excited about the amazing opportunity we have. I still don't think we've hit the peak of online education. More and more, even universities, everybody's moving towards this direction. I think if you jump on now, it's going to be one of those things where you're just going to ride the wave through the top. So
yeah,
I'm going to say anybody can create an online course, whether you've already got an idea, you're a step ahead, or you don't have one yet, you can find one and start teaching it. Here's the thing. Ideas never just kind of, well, maybe for some lucky folks they do, but I've found that they don't usually just strike you like a lightning bolt. It's usually taking that first step. I always say big ideas ride on the backs of other ideas. And so sometimes, I had a buddy create one course. It was meant to be like get mental clarity for your future, your life, and it was kind of vague, right? So people didn't really know who it was for. I always say the more specific you can be, the better.
Yeah.
And so he created this course and found out that, well, maybe it's not exactly what people wanted. And he did a quick pivot, ended up creating something laser focused, and now he sells multiple 6 figures a year. And he did all this within a few months. Maybe a year it took me to kind of really narrow down things. And people say, oh, a year. Well, my corporate world, that was a 5 to 10 to 20 year plan. And I think the speed at which you can get results online, there's nothing like it. So it's a blast.
Well, you proved it with the Scrivener course. Like, who would have thought 17,000 people would buy a course on Scrivener?
Yeah, it's funny because I have a small group of guys, mastermind group where we give each other advice on business, and they always kind of joked me and they said, if you were to come up and say you had this idea for a Scrivener course now before knowing that you'd have success with it, we probably would have told you, forget it. There's no way that's gonna work.
Right.
But I have one of these strategies I call the 4 deep technique, to where take your original topic and see if you can go 4 levels deep with it. It almost sounds scary because you feel like you're going to alienate so many folks, or that there's not going to be enough people that'd be interested in it if you get hyper specific. But the thing is, we're competing against all the noise out there. There's so much marketing noise. Everybody's competing for your attention, literally.
Yeah.
And what getting specific does is allows you to just cut straight through all of that, so that the other person on the other end, they can see that and be like, that's exactly for me. And there's going to be so many more people than you ever thought that are just like that. It's a huge world out there. And when your whole world is your playing field, it gets pretty exciting.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot. And I'll post a link. The link I have is tedprodromo.com/course creators, because I'm going to throw in my own bonuses. But
awesome.
It's free bundle right now. So take advantage, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Ted. It's been a blast talking about this stuff.
Yeah, we talk forever on this stuff.
I know. We can talk all day.
Great. Well, thanks for your time.
You bet.
Talk soon.
All right. Bye now.